Hello, Wadikani. Thank you for joining me, Rosemary Nyabatsa. Welcome to the Children's Chimurenga. Today, I thought we could talk about the value of authenticity in creating relationships that are true and intimate and in which you can grow. So I've had my mum here for the last 7 weeks now. She was meant to be here for 4 weeks, but thanks to coronavirus, she's had to extend her stay. And it's been a wonderful time we're already working on our relationship and getting to authentically know each other outside of the subscribed boundaries of culture and mother-daughter relationship, and really into an authentic adult-to-adult relationship. And we'd started this a long time ago, but there's always plenty of material for revision and for looking into and for understanding ourselves, understanding our relationship as an entity in itself, and also understanding the cultural and ancestral origins of many of our behaviors, which helps us to understand some of the things that torment and trouble us, helps us understand some of our behaviors and automatic instincts, and also helps us to modify and to begin to become aware of ourselves in order to find a new sense of freedom within ourselves, a new sense of flow within our relationship. And for me in particular, having a younger daughter, it helps me to see patterns, heal wounds, and then choose what to keep, because there was plenty of wonderful stuff that my mother did and continues to do in our relationship, but also to choose not to do certain things, and so this authenticity is so important to a relationship, and to find a level on which you can speak to your parent if they're still around. If they're not still around, you can still speak to them because they are still around spiritually. And actually, that is the most authentic relationship you can have with another soul, is on a soul-to-soul level. So even though you might not have access to them physically, you can still do the same kind of work with your parent, even if they are not around physically to do it with them. So for the first 4 weeks, as I said, we've already done a lot of work. So we had a really fantastic, harmonious first 4 weeks. But I think we both had kind of a timeline or an end of the race mentality, thinking, well, for 4 weeks, before, maybe 2 years ago, even 2 weeks together was a bit like, eh. And now 4 weeks, we're like, okay, 4 weeks, definitely we'll just have a good time, we'll chill out. There's nothing to do anyway, there's lockdown here, so there's no distractions, there's no shopping, there's no going out to lunch or anything like that. So we're here for 4 weeks together. And we really enjoyed it, and it was extremely harmonious. And even if things were coming up, we were picking our battles. We had limited time together, and we've come to that point in our relationship where there's no friction, or not as much friction when things come up. So we could just put it away, which we did. But then 4 weeks came, and it went because restrictions have meant that she can't go back to Zimbabwe at the moment. And so that timeline where we had probably subconsciously made a contract to be completely peaceful and harmonious and not bring up the stuff that we might need to work on, because you don't have to work on things all the time. It's like at dinner time, don't talk about things that are difficult at dinner time. That's a time when it's supposed to be calm and peaceful, and you're ingesting your food, and you're supposed to have comfortable energy between you. And that was our subconscious contract for those 4 weeks. So we didn't bring this stuff up. But now that the time is extended, we both recognize that this is an opportunity for those things that are coming up, for us to talk about them and to heal them and to get to know each other better, And so we've had several not big things, but big enough to give us an opening into getting to know each other better on a heart level, not as a hierarchical mother-daughter relationship. And also we have been given the opportunity to talk about a lot of things that came up in the past that, for example, I was still holding on to as a 8-year-old, as a 15-year-old. And she was being my mum and doing her best and thinking that this was the right way to raise a child, wholeheartedly. But I, at the time, felt like, she was crushing my spirit in certain ways, and carried that. So we really had this opportunity to talk about these things and to acknowledge that that was the very best that she thought she was doing to help me through life. And she actually thought she was doing better than her parents. And this is where we get to the point where we know that it's a generational accumulation of healing. So my daughter, even though I think I'm doing the best, even better than my mom, is going to say, Mom, but when you did this, it really made me feel like this, and I've carried it like this throughout my life. So I understand that she's going to come to me with those things as well, and I welcome that. So there was this acknowledgement that she was doing her best, but also an acknowledgement of the impact that had on me. And then we were also able to trace it backwards through her experience and what she was raised to think was the best and to believe was the best. And we can take it so far back. But when we are able to speak truth authentically and from a heart perspective, so not pointing to you, when that is removed and you can just speak your truth from a place of love, but self-love is the basis of this, where you are no longer sacrificing your own ability to express yourself. You're no longer sacrificing the acknowledgement of your feelings in order to, what we have been taught, to respect your parent, to not feel guilty, why did I express myself or tell them what they had done wrong? So we have this culture of silence, which is linked with guilt, because sometimes we get that when we're children, you're going to miss me when I die. And so as a child, that really silences you. If you are expressing anger or frustration or some valid feeling within yourself, you're kind of made guilty for feeling these ways or acting in a certain way because you're made acutely aware that this person is going to go. And surely, yes, they are going to go. But when they go, I would like to know that my mum went knowing me, really knowing me, not knowing a facade of me, because we are all very intuitive beings. We're not fooling anyone. We're not fooling ourselves, and we're not fooling each other. So we might be acting within this really intricate format of culture and society, and this is how you act and this is how you be. But we all know that there is an authentic self in each other beneath all of that. And so trying to connect with each other outside of all that proprietary stuff is where we are then able to have fully satisfying relationships, where we can be really open with each other about really difficult things, but the flow of energy within ourselves and within the relationship, and then every other layer of life that comes from that, is well worth that first step in authenticity and self-love and love for the other. Because when she goes, when she dies, I will know that my mom knew me through and through, for better, for worse, all parts of me, that we really had an authentic relationship. And for me, that is worth, because it wasn't easy to start with when we were really, trying to find the platform on which to speak to each other in this incredibly authentic way. But that step was well worth it, from a point of view of self-love, that I will never feel now that I abandoned myself and there's so many things that I want to tell my mom that I can only tell her in spirit now, which is still good enough. But I'm glad that I have the opportunity to speak to her in the physical. And I know that now we are enjoying a relationship that is so much more real. And that's what it's about, is, do we have the love for ourselves and the love for each other to act on a level of realness? And are we willing to go there and to enjoy the doors that it opens? And this is not just about mother-daughter relationships. This is about all relationships. Parental relationships are extremely important because they are the basis on which our whole worldview is founded. And so to do these things with our parents and to cut through the constraints, the cultural constraints, the societal constraints with our parents, actually then means that we free ourselves from all other cultural and societal constraints. Because when you are authentic with your mother and your father, who are the people you are most afraid of in your life, then you can't take nothing from nobody else, right? Because ndiani aneshamu. So it is a wonderful healing experience, and then you're just with each other on a level that that you haven't been with each other before, and I'm experiencing this with my father as well, and in so many of my other relationships. So I really invite us all to take that scary step into showing ourselves and others who we really are, and knowing that we deserve to be seen for who we really are, and that is a big step to self-love and self-acceptance, and it's scary, but then when you're on the other side, there was nothing to be scared of at all, always. Okay, lots of love.